All right. So I'm just checking. Am I live on LinkedIn? So just a second. Okay, we are live. So, all right. So now we are going to switch to English because I just had a few minutes go a talk with Ines. So we were talking in our language, which is Serbian, and now it seems very interesting to switch to English and talk with Ines in English. But thank you so much for joining the call, Ines. And I'm really excited about this topic, especially because it is so related to me. It is so related to a lot of women in SEO, and especially to talk about another SEO expert. And we have learned a lot from our mentor. So thank you so much for joining. Feel free to introduce yourself, and then we will talk about imposter syndrome and how to overcome it.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Let's start with that. And I hope I'm going to be maybe the first one from XU area to be invited here to speak with you and your guests, and a lot more SEO women will follow me. I believe I have to believe in that.
Yeah.
It just makes sense at the moment.
Yeah, actually, you are the first one, and I'm really looking forward to having more our people, even like all SEO experts. I'm feeling that are my people, but yeah, let's bring more people from Balkans to actually to have this exposure and talk about these SEO topics.
Well, it's not that
So
hard. I can't see all the other people. I don't know who's online and who's following this, so it's perfectly good for me because I probably would be intimidated by all the people
yeah, basically,
watching
you will
this.
not be distracted by anyone.
Maybe that.
Sometimes we have comments here, so people
Can I
can.
see them?
Yes, I think you can
Okay.
see them. Even I'm still learning about this broadcasting platform. All
Yeah,
right.
I can. There's a duck with the. Okay, that's good.
Yes.
I will try to introduce myself as short as possible. So my name is Ines, and I'm originally from Apatin, which is in Serbia, located somewhere between Croatia and Hungary. So we kind of speak all languages there, and we eat all the food as well. So I grew up there, and I moved to Novi Sad like 15 years ago, or even more. So that can tell you my age, approximately. So at the moment, I am in SEO industry for the last 5 years. I didn't started my journey from university because I never went to, I don't know, IT university or something like that. I didn't even finish the one I started originally, but I was that kind of people who they were in one niche and then they decided to merge to other niche for a while, and then they decided, okay, this is where I actually belong. So before I started interesting myself, before I had even like a idea of what I want to do really in life, I was working at student services, and I was working in section for international students, and they hired me only because I could speak English, which was very nice reason to hire somebody. So this is where my imposter syndrome started kicking actually. So a couple of years later, I was invited to be the head of student services in Belgrade. So I moved to another university. And after a couple of months, I realized that I hate the job. I hate coming to work happy and everybody is coming to student service mad or angry about something. So they are killing your vibe daily. And I kind of didn't see myself in the industry like for the rest of my life. And then I decided to enroll the digital marketing um, academy that was popular at the time in Serbia. Probably everybody knows about Istok and Ivan Bildi. They was kicking this academy stuff since I don't know how long. So I'm not sure if I was like on the first year or second, but this is actually where I started, and I learned about SEO on that same academy. It was, I remember that I couldn't even afford to pay it all in once, and I had to pay it in installment, and they allow it. And I wrote to Istok like a couple of months ago, and I told him, "Well, do you remember me?" And I explained the situation, and he was like, "No, but good for you. I mean, look where you at the moment." So it was a good decision after all.
Nice.
So I was in digital marketing for a while. I started to freelance, leaning to SEOs. Like for my first freelance role, I had for one e-commerce shop in US. I was working on optimization of the product descriptions for them, and I was with them for 4 years because we had like such a nice cooperation, and finally it helped me to understand SEO better, like from the real perspective, not just from the theory, which was very important to me. And then my first SEO role came in 2019. It was off-page SEO, and I was thinking that, like, okay, in the first month I was like, okay, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And then I realized that there's a technical side of SEO, and I was like, no, I want to do that for the rest of my life. So it was like the journey was pretty, I don't know, I like to call it ordinary because I know a lot of people that had like the same path. They were searching for themselves and trying to find like the joy in what they do. So they end up where they end up. And I happened to happily end in SEO.
Mm-hmm.
So at the moment, I'm working as a contractor. I finally decided to start my own business, and it's easier for us living in Serbia because we are more likely to be employed by somebody who's abroad if we are able to contribute as contractors. So that was the goal, to move from clients in Serbia and work for bigger clients or even some agencies. So that's where I am at the moment.
Mm-hmm. And when you look back from the imposter syndrome standpoint, what kind of differences and similarities you have in the current job?
Well, when I started, like for example, in student service, I told everybody, okay, they hired me only because I can speak English, so I was able to speak with students who were there internationally. And then after 4 years, when they kind of suggested me to move to the position of head of student service, I was like, well, they probably told me that because I don't have children, so it's easier for me to go there. I mean, there's always an excuse covering why somebody given me something to do. And it's still, I mean, I still feel it every day. And you know,
What's
um
now excuse?
I don't know, usually things are not the best that they can be. Like for example, you get a keyword research and you know that you need an hour for a decent keyword research, maybe for one page. And then if I ask myself by the end of the day, could I do it better? Like for example, me, yeah, of course I could do it. I can always
Mm-hmm.
do it better. Nothing is ever perfect. So I mean, I think that's kind of a part of having this imposter syndrome, like nothing is good enough for you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ask other people, they're like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
So I just hope that one day I will wake up and this kind of a feeling of not being good enough will be gone.
Mm-hmm.
But we were speaking before they started, so I think that some people are just born with it. I mean, it's funny to me because I now relate to it and I live with this like whole time. So I don't
Yeah,
know,
the
it's
thing,
normal for me.
yeah. Unfortunately, it seems normal and it seems as it should be. And that is like the most common mistake, I think, with the imposter syndrome, because the majority of people are expressing their imposter syndrome. So the SEO community, as the like industry professional industry in the general, thinking that imposter syndrome is something that it's good and something that motivates you to grow. So people are not thinking even to work on their imposter syndrome because they are afraid that if they are not having that kind of feeling that they are not good enough, they will not progress in their SEO career or like any career. So I think this is like the biggest misunderstanding, because you actually can progress with your career even more when you are not having the feeling every day that like you are not good enough, because in that moment you are able to get like and take more opportunities and more kind of um, things on yourself, just to be aware that you can do it. And when it comes to imposter syndrome, I think that is very connected that you were mentioning that actually you are still SEO junior. So for the call's sake, and since this call will be very short, I think this will be SEO happy hour, the fastest SEO happy hour that we have, because actually in the last moment you got another meeting rescheduled, so we will finish this call in 15 minutes. But I think doesn't matter if if it's the fastest one. I think still we can bring the value, and let's take the real example of the imposter syndrome, and let's actually provide people who are watching this like how they can uh, overcome imposter syndrome, like following like these kinds of questions and steps. So you mentioned that you are SEO junior, right? So if you can formulate like in the way you mentioned that to me.
Yeah, I was telling to Adriana that I'm working for 5 years and I still feel like a SEO junior. So I don't know when will I progress in my head, but and I also had issues with people like writing my name and then adding SEO specialist. It was like I'm not an SEO specialist. Like I have
Mm-hmm.
to like I need 10 years to get there. So turns out this year I'm formally SEO specialist. So I'm not junior anymore, but it feels like I am because
Okay.
every time I do something or I get this task, I usually start thinking, okay, how can I do this better, or will this be good enough and stuff like that. So it never actually disappears. And you mentioned one thing that is right. I mean, I think that we do progress in career maybe faster than others because we are always searching for a solution for something to do it better or faster.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be a
And
good thing, but it could be a bad thing because, for example, if you need to, I don't know, present some strategy that you like wrote down in a couple of hours when you need to present it to a client who doesn't know anything about it, you're like super afraid that something will go wrong and they will discover you know nothing about it, even though you wrote that thing like a couple of hours ago. So it's a never ending story.
yeah, I would say if it's feeling bad, then definitely like we should work on it, because we don't want to feel bad every day on our SEO jobs. So let's go into the game. Like you said that you are SEO junior, so
Yep.
uh, and that is actually the same template for the all people that can follow. So I'm SEO junior, so I'm asking you, like, are you really 100% in every situation SEO junior?
I don't know that. Maybe
Do you
maybe I'm
have,
not.
mhm. In which situations you are not?
Hmm. I definitely feel like the most uncomfortable when I'm like presenting something to a large crowd of people, or when something that I did starts being questioned by people who know nothing about SEO, which is funny. But
Mhm.
let's start
But
from there.
in which situations you are not SEO junior? Is there any situation that you are not SEO junior?
Yeah, when you need to help other people, then you forget like everything that you are in front of like the people you work with, and you are able to help somebody who is maybe even as your senior, maybe you know some things that they don't, and you are able to jump into their tasks and cover their tasks as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
like for
how does it
example,
feel? Yeah.
well, it feels like you're doing somebody a favor, so it doesn't bother you anymore. I mean, you don't get the sense like it's you. You're just there for somebody else, so you're kind of able to fill that spot at the moment.
But how does it feel when you are thinking that you are SEO junior?
I don't know. I don't have like a simplified like answer for that. I really don't.
Does it feel maybe those are feelings connected more with the bad feelings? Is it like kind of like stressful to think about? Is it just like overwhelming? Are you frustrated?
Okay, if we have to relate it to an emotion, it's definitely frustrating, and it's kind of it's stressful. It's very
Mm-hmm.
stressful because it keeps you on your toes all day long if you're having like important meetings, and then you feel stress even if you don't have to feel stress, but you just do. You can't run away from it.
Yeah. And how would it feel that you are thinking that you are not SEO junior? What kind
You're
of
just
feelings you would have then?
it's like for example, if I'm helping somebody with something or replacing somebody in a meeting, it's like you're a different person. You have one goal, so you're there just to finish the thing, and then you're like moving to your tasks to feel like shit again.
Yeah. So basically, if the feeling of the imposter syndrome, for example, I'm not the SEO, I'm SEO junior, makes you feel like nervous, stressed, and like just like lacking of something, that it's not useful for you. And if it's not useful for you, probably you would like to change that. So, whenever you are having these kinds of feelings like I'm not good enough, definitely we should start with the questions like, is this true for any situations? Like 100% sure. Definitely there will be some situations that it may be true, but let's refocus and be just thinking about like all these situations that it's not the statement that we are saying to us like we are not good enough, that it's not true. So thinking about these situations like are helping us refocusing our thinking, and then finding like these feelings like how I'm feeling like when I'm thinking this, and how I would feel that when I'm, for example, SEO senior. And then actually the mindset is starting to switch the focus, because if you're just thinking that you are not good enough and that you are as your journey as your junior, maybe you will miss some opportunities on the meetings when your manager is saying like, hey, who will take the lead of this project? You will think like, I'm as your junior, I can't do that. But when you feel like, maybe I'm not junior, maybe I'm mid, or maybe I'm towards to senior, then you will get that power to take some additional opportunities that will help you to progress with your career.
I like this
So
life hack.
yeah. So for the end of this kind of like small exercise, can we formulate the another statement that is more true, that is more connected to the reality now? Like, are kind of like, are we really SEO junior, or what do you think like it can be like more true for yourself? Because like we see that you are not SEO junior, and I know that if you have like 5 years of experience, you there is no like common sense that you are SEO junior. But doesn't matter like what I see, can you formulate the one sentence that it's like after this call, after this like small exercise, that it's more true, that is more accurate for yourself?
Well, maybe it's not like the smart one, and I know you all expect me to say something smart. I'm just going to be practical because you said like if I'm um covering somebody in a meeting or something like that, I'm fine with it. So I from now on I would just, if I feel stressful, like if I'm having like a stressful day or something like that, I will just imagine myself that okay, I'm not here for me, I'm here for somebody else. And I will
Mm-hmm.
let you know how that works for me.
Yeah, let me know. But can you think about just like when you are not in the meeting, when you are doing like these tasks and you are thinking like, yeah, I'm SEO junior, or just like when we are talking, like, can you reformulate that sentence? Are you still SEO junior, or maybe there is a one sentence like, I was SEO junior last year, or something like that, but now I'm more towards a little bit higher
No,
levels.
it's always in me. I mean, I can't run away from it. I think I'm an SEO junior with 5 years experience. So there's my
Okay.
sentence.
And does it feel better
I
than
don't know.
just
It
like,
feels it feels like I mean, I told you before that I'm just trying to learn to accept, okay, this is the way that my brain works actually. So maybe I can rewire it in some moment of my life. But from now on, I will just, trying to deal with it day by day.
mm-hmm,
So yeah, but I like this hack that you mentioned. Like, just imagine you're somebody else, like you're
yeah,
covering for somebody. I like that.
because all
I'm
these
gonna
kind
use
of
that
like,
one.
yeah, hacks, they are just helping us a little by little, because definitely we can't after like 20 minutes think like, oh yeah, I'm SEO expert, I am the senior, I'm SEO manager, or something like that. But just working on these kinds of small steps and reframing everything that we were thinking about us until today with a like small few questions can actually make a difference in the future, like, because sometimes we are thinking something that is not true,
Yeah, but
and that's
being in
holding us
SEO
back.
industry is not helping at all because it
Mm-hmm.
has constant changes and everything can change in a day. So if you don't follow it, if you don't work on it every day, you might end up being SEO junior after 5 years. So there's like um no doubt that it can end like that. But maybe that imposter syndrome in SEO industry comes from that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially SEO industry, because we have like all these changes on the daily basis, I think,
Yep,
and
that's true.
it's becoming like more hectic and hectic. Then like our imposter syndrome takes a place and has like more significant impact than maybe finance, because like they are not so connected with the
Everything's
everyday
the same and nothing
changes.
ever changes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So I know that we agreed to have like 25 minutes. So, but I think
So we
just
have
like
1
with,
minute left.
yeah, 1 minute left. But I believe just like with these like small hacks, everybody who is watching this, to actually work on their like the biggest imposter syndrome feelings, that they can help just like try it, because if you didn't try, then you can say that it's not working. But if just like try to a little bit go over like these few questions, then to actually realize, does that make us just like small difference? And yeah, let me know so we can work and add some additional like tools and checklists to actually how to overcome that imposter syndrome once for the all.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if there are other people who are feeling the same way I do, and I know for sure that there are like some ladies in this industry as well who are like constantly afraid that they can do more, they can do better, and nothing's ever good enough. Maybe we can start, with advices you gave us today. So thank you.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining. And doesn't matter since you can stay on the call longer, but I really enjoy this small SEO happy hour session, and definitely looking forward in the future to having you again, or like any um, our people from Balkan countries in these kinds of small talks and the future SEO careers
Yeah, we can
discussions.
redo it in a year once I use all the hacks that you can give me.
Yeah, and see like the difference, because actually there is on my YouTube channel small SEO mindset bites, just like taking small bites um, to see the impact of the mindset change.
That's great.
Yeah. All
I
right,
hope that
Ines, thank you
everybody
so
will visit that
much.
page. Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you for
and
having
good
me.
luck for on your meeting.
Bye bye.
Thank you all. Bye.